Hello and welcome to a new episode of Underground, where we take a social media tour around the globe to detect users' reactions to events. I'm Muntaha Mu'adhin. In today's show, a Tunisian social media campaign slamming Qatar. Online activists shared concerns on World Press Freedom Day. Google silently recognizes Palestine. And finally, 2 decades since the launching of the World Wide Web. We're starting today's show out of Tunisia, where a social media campaign has been launched against the state of Qatar after Tunisian President Monsef Marzouki thanked Qatar for having paid money to retrieve a portion of Ben Ali's assets, even though the UN was the one responsible for the investigation and retrieval of the funds. Social media users seemed not to tolerate the ongoing president's praise of Qatar, and Tunisians took to the internet, flooding the web with jokes at Qatar's expense. Comments range from poking fun at the country's size, as young as one said, Tunisia has soccer team 50 years older than Qatar, to criticizing its hosting of American military bases and repressive human rights policies. When Tunisian commented on Qatar, a fact to be learned, the largest US military base in the world outside the USA is in Qatar. I get it. Another added, Qatar, the country with poets sent to life in prison. And things went further after Marzouki declared in a speech, quoting, "People who insult Qatar should feel ashamed before taking responsibility for their deeds in front of the law." Within days of Marzouki's speech, enterprising Tunisian launched a Facebook campaign called Campaign to Insult the State of Qatar. A sample of what's on the page is when Qatari children play hide and seek, one has to hide in Saudi Arabia and the other in Bahrain. Our next lead in today's show is about World Press Freedom Day. This international event was created by UNESCO 20 years ago to raise awareness of press freedom. This year, there were many videos posted about the issues facing journalists. One is about the number of journalists killed in recent years. Take a look. Another video depicts the issues facing online journalists and the threats of censorships to blog or sites like Facebook and Twitter. Take a listen.
Digitization of press and media has multiplied the number of voices and platforms, but new threats have also emerged. Online censorship, surveillance, and blocking of access to information are widespread.
There are 2 things that we should think about to promote free speech: the right to know and the right to tell.
And we must support journalists and bloggers under attack.
On Twitter, the hashtag WPFD trended among activists to share their concerns on this day. On their part, a Twitter activist from Bahrain found WPFD a time to remind the world of the Bahraini activist Nabil Rajab, who's sentenced to 2 years in prison for practicing freedom of speech online.
world, we have seen autocratic regimes respond to popular protest with nothing but repression. Would you accept that it has been different in Bahrain?
It's different that the only regime have invited other troops from other countries to take part in the crackdown. It's different that the only regime have empowered themselves with mercenaries brought from Pakistan, Syria, Jordan, and Yemen. It's maybe the only revolution that have received silence from the international community, from the Western government, from United States government due to their interests. It's the only revolution have not received a coverage in the media due to the complication, to the interest, to the oil, to the arms sale, to the interest of media station. Our government did not only crack down using their own army, but they have invited the Saudi army, an army from the GCC and other Emirates, to come and take part in killing people, taking part in the crackdown. We have seen this happening with the silence of international community, or from the Western power, from United States government. We were oppressed by the many governments, led by United States government. We were victims of American presence in our country. We were victims of interest of some European countries.
النضال سوف يستمر، الكفاح سوف يستمر دون توقف حتى أن ننال حقوقنا.
Another lead for today comes out of Palestine, where the Palestinian news network spread the news of the recognition of Google to Palestine after the search engine was referring to Palestine as the Palestinian territories. Previously, when typing www.google.ps, the tagline read Palestinian territories in Arabic. Now it reads Palestine. Google spokesman Nathan Taylor said, "We're following the lead of the UN, ICANN, ISO, and other international organizations." Now, reaction on social media range from some dismissing the importance of the step by Google, like, "It always makes me wonder why people seem to think that symbolic gestures translate into real-world consequences." Others welcomed the step and commented, "Recognizing Palestine, first United Nations, now Google. This is celebration for those who are oppressed." To talk more about the recognition of Palestine by Google, we are joined via Skype by Mr. Vincino Termini, a policy analyst and Italian activist in solidarity with Palestine. Mr. Termini, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for your invitation.
As an activist, how did you perceive Google's recognition of Palestine on its homepage?
Well, it is another important step towards a complete recognition of Palestine as a state. Even though Palestine cannot be considered yet a state according to the international law, lacking the requirement of independence from any external power, it is, even though it is another means of pressure on Israel in order to push the Jewish state to recognize the Palestinian statehood. What is surprising is the fact that actually this move comes
But
from...
Mr. Termini, why didn't Google announce this?
Sorry?
Why didn't Google announce the step?
As you said in your introduction, actually Google justified this move by saying that it is simply following the UN is doing, and especially what ISO, International Standard Organization, and ICANN are doing.
Activists actually are asking here, will this go to Google Maps too? Will Google update its maps?
Yes, I think so. I think that the next step from Google will be the update of its maps on Google Maps. Yes, of course.
So do you think this step is a big step by the search engine to support Palestinians, maybe?
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, it is an important step, very important step. Also because it helps to raise the awareness of public opinion, of the global public opinion over the issue, over the struggle of Palestine for its independence and for its self-determination.
So do you see any difference in the public opinion now?
Actually, there is no immediate difference on the public opinion following this news. But the real important thing is that media all around the world are now talking about Palestine, and this can amplify the exposure of Palestine in the public debate.
So do you think now that social media is helping Palestinians to spread their word about the daily suffering they're having in Palestine?
Yes, I'm sure that this move is going to improve the exposure of Palestine, and so there will be a greater echo of the suffering of the Palestinian people. By the way, I would like to stress the fact that always the fact that we have a first-hand information from social media does not mean that we have a genuine information. So we must be aware on the fact that actually social media too can be biased, not only government propaganda or other things.
So do you think that the Western public is given more of a chance to learn more about Palestine?
Yes, that's for sure, because when I talk about the issue with people around me, the thing that strikes me the most is the fact that people simply are ignorant, so they don't know what is going on in the region. So this move could actually help the awareness and the consciousness, especially of Western people, of the issue of the struggle of Palestine and Palestinian people.
But can you tell us more how this awareness is translated maybe online, maybe through what? Through blogs, through tweets, through comments?
Actually, I can describe my personal experience. As a matter of fact, since the announcement from Google of its decision to recognize Palestine and not simply Palestinian territories, my Facebook page was actually invaded by news over the issue, and my friends, my Italian friends here and other people who are interested over the issue, starting asking me what is going on in the region, what does it mean for Palestine, the fact that Google decided to recognize Palestine as a state and non-state.
So, Mr. Termini, as an Italian activist, what advice you give to your counterparts in Palestine?
First of all, I'm pretty sure that what the Palestinian Authority is doing currently, it has to the fact that it is asking to international organizations or multinational companies to recognize Palestine as a state and not simply Palestinian territories, is having an important impact on the public opinion. What I think is that the Palestinian Authority should continue on this way, on this path towards a formal recognition, not only from the UN, but also from the media or other companies, private companies and multinational companies.
Okay.
So that's the good way.
Okay. Mr. Vincino Termini, a policy analyst and Italian activist in solidarity with Palestine, thank you for joining us on Underground today.
Thank you for your invitation.
Dear viewers, now we will take a short break and we will be back. Don't go away.
pollution and climate change, medicine manipulation, genetically modified food, the destruction of wildlife, and corporate exploitation. These are all part of a new terrorism threatening our future.
Eco-terrorism, global awakening to a world under threat.
Welcome back. This week marked the 2 decades anniversary of launching the World Wide Web to the public. The development in global communication we're witnessing today was made after the World Wide Web technologies were available to everyone on free basis. In a celebration of the web's proud history, the CERN team has started up a new project to revive the very first website at its original URL. The page lacks modern features like images and designs. Still, it reminds us how much the web has grown in relatively short time. This week also marked the return of the American technology journalist Paul Miller to the internet after a year away. He wanted to explore how life would like without the internet. Take a listen to his testimony on the internet-free life.
It's something that I want to do for the personal exploration of how it would help me deal with my productivity, my creativity, and figuring out how the internet's impacting me.
There's deeper reasons for most of my problems that really didn't have a lot to do with the internet. They just manifest differently on and offline.
You know, my brother and I don't talk on the phone very well. It was always nice to be able to Skype with his kids, and I couldn't do that this year. So being with them in person, I got to connect with them in a way that was just impossible this year without the internet. I thought when I first left the internet that it'd be a lot of like getting used to using the library and the post office and like really practical stuff, but I just didn't really do much of that.
I don't miss the internet. I don't dream about it. I don't yearn for it. You know, every once in a while somebody's like, oh, there's this really funny thing happening on Twitter, but I can't tell you, you know, but I don't care. You know, my biggest fear though is that at the end of the year, I don't want to really go back to the internet full bore. Even though it's so awesome, it's such a cool thing, I like myself a lot better not on the internet.
Another lead is about the worldwide celebration of Labor Day online. Labor Day is an annual holiday to celebrate the achievements of workers. It has its origin in the labor union movement, which advocated 8 hours for work, 8 hours for recreation, and 8 hours for rest. Google celebration, Google Doodle in this Labor Day. Take a look. In other news, we ask, are Americans getting tired of texting on mobile phones? While people in the US are still sending trillions of text messages per year, they sent 5% less in 2012 than they did in 2011. According to a recent report released by research firm Informa, one of the reasons texting may be declining is because of several chat applications, such as Apple's Message, WhatsApp, Viber, and BlackBerry Messenger are becoming users' preferred methods of communication. Texting also declined in countries other than the United States. Mashable explains more in this video.
For Mashable, I'm Eric Shute. Research shows texting is so 2011. At the end of last year, SMS usage was on the decline in parts of the world. According to Forbes, a few of the world's texting hubs saw a decrease in usage during traditionally busy days, either on Christmas Eve or Christmas. It starts in Finland, where the primary mobile carrier Sonera reported 8.5 million text messages were sent on Christmas Eve in 2011. In 2010, that day, there were 10.9 million texts sent. That's a 22% decrease. To Australia, which saw a 9% drop from 2010. And in Hong Kong, Christmas Day texts saw the biggest decline, down 14% from the previous year. The New York Times notes cell phone users are putting their emoticons in other places, namely in the hands of social networks and private messaging networks. The fading allure of text messaging is most likely tied to the rise of alternative services like Facebook, Twitter, BlackBerry Messenger, and iMessage, which allow customers to send messages free using a cell phone's internet connection. But even if texting isn't trending, Mashable previously reported 75% of worldwide cell phone users text, and just 23% of them use the internet on their mobile devices.
Now, have you been texting or using your mobile apps while walking? People around the world seem taken by their mobile phones and the new apps and high tech on mobiles to the extent that this is getting them in trouble. To raise awareness to this, take a look at this neat idea by some activists.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. For today's mission, we're going to be posing as city workers who are helping people text and walk safely on the streets of New York. So we're posing as if the Department of Transportation has started this initiative. Half of you will be wearing orange vests and leashes, and half of you will be holding on while you text.
It's forbidden to walk and text here because in some states it's forbidden because of many accidents. I don't know if it's forbidden in New York.
Do they have this service in Germany?
No, for sure not. It's crazy.
I don't know. I have no idea where they came from or how they got connected to people. I don't know.
They walk around while people text. Yeah. So you don't have to pay attention while you're texting. We were just asking them the same thing. We wasn't told about it. Well, we always the last ones to know everything.
In other contexts, lies are inevitable in real life and online. But scientists say if you are in the presence of a liar, you can often uncover the truth by paying attention to tiny details. We have a video that teaches you how to detect lies. Learn this.
How to detect a lie. Are you getting the whole truth and nothing but? The answer may be lying right in front of you. You will need a good ear, good eyes, and a healthy skepticism. Step 1. Watch the suspected liar's hands. Body language studies show that people tend to touch their face and scratch their nose when they lie. Step 2. Follow their eyes. Liars tend to blink a lot and don't maintain eye contact. Step 3. Note their words. A liar will often skip contractions, saying I did not instead of I didn't, and avoid pronouns using someone's full name instead of he or she. Step 4. Check their smile. People who are telling the truth use many facial muscles, but liars smile with just their mouth. Step 5. Notice their posture. Liars tend to keep their body posture closed by folding their arms, for example. They may also unconsciously put an object between you, like a cup of coffee. Step 6. Pause momentarily before responding. If the silence makes them uncomfortable, they may be lying. Step 7. Pay attention to details. If they provide more information than necessary, that's a bad sign. People tend to be overly specific when they're making something up. Step 8. Change the subject. If they seem relieved, that's probably a red flag that they've been lying straight to your face. Step 9. What you do from here is up to you. It may be smart to file your knowledge away for future use. However, if you're noticing a trend, it might just be time to teach your liar a lesson.
Finally, some people seem to never give up, no matter how hard their situations were. We're sharing this unique video of a special need Tunisian playing gymnastics. This is all on Underground for today. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye.